Well, hello everyone. This is Yasko. I'm going to first read the former president's natal chart and then present to you something that's going to happen in September. That's going to be the lunar eclipse of 25 degrees Pisces. You can tell me if that chart in September confirms his solar return chart. You may want to go back and watch that solar return chart because that is a very strong chart that showed what was coming up next for him around his birthday. And that's what solar return charts are. It goes from birthday to birthday. So what's going to happen next. It's a situation we call a no way out. But there is a way out. So when you find yourself in this kind of situation, always look for a way out in your chart. And I think Donald Trump's chart is an excellent example. So let's look at the former president's natal chart first. Why do I call this chart a chart of a revolutionary? Well, what stands out the most in this chart? First, the midheaven. It's 24 degree Taurus. That is a fixed star called Caput Algol. It's associated with beheadings or loss of head. Do you remember that show? It was Donald Trump's show. I think where they said, I don't remember the name of the show, but they keep talking about you're fired, or they keep saying you're fired. So I don't know if that was the title. But back in the guillotine days, that's how people were executed. And today, well, when we say your head on the chopping block, that's the same thing. That is Caput Algol. Then you look at Uranus, so elevated in a critical degree of 17 degrees Gemini, with the North Node and the Ascendant ruler. All are opposed by the Moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is media and publicity, or publications, or publishing. He also capitalized on it by having a show where he repeatedly said, "You're fired." So, I don't remember the name of the show. That aspect is confirmed by Mars in Leo conjunct Ascendant. Leo in his chart rules publications, entertainment, legal matters, and finally the Ascendant in 29 degrees is also conjunct a fixed star named Regulus, the sign of royalty, or star of royalty. He does behave like a king, the royal majesty, like, the famous King Henry VIII. I'm not saying he's like King Henry VIII, but what I'm saying is that king, he does behave like a king. And these planets describe Donald Trump. He is not an easy character to deal with. When Uranus is in Gemini, his spoken expressions can be shocking. Go back to his first campaign days. He shockingly criticized his opponents. I am just reading from his natal chart and pointing out examples of those moments when Uranus in Gemini manifested. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Is that how the saying goes? Being born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But look at his chart. You can see that. And look at his second house. Well, I'll set aside that for now. But basically that 10th house in the midheaven is his mission in life. To change the world. That's what's his mission in life. It's to change the world. And Uranus is there so prominent. and his slogan, "Make America Great Again." And here we see another manifestation of a revolutionary. So that video, the 25-degree Pisces, which is a lunar eclipse, will be released next month. But we'll just go on. So let's see how that lunar eclipse affects Donald Trump's crusade. It's going to hit him from the 8th house. The 8th house is other people's money, or it could be investors too. He also has a stock that went public this year. I think it's called DJT, or Trump's social media or social channel or something like that. Notice on Trump's natal chart that the 8th house cusp is 23 degrees Pisces, and the lunation is going to be 25 degrees. From that house, the lunar eclipse hits the sun and the north node in a square aspect, and at the same time hits the natal moon in a square too, or with a square, and at the same time opposes the lunar eclipse sun, transiting sun, now at his second house of money. So you know money will be involved. The lunar eclipse square transiting Jupiter in Gemini. Be reminded that Jupiter is in detriment by house and in its fall by house, the 10th house. Jupiter is also a co-ruler of Pisces, squared by the lunar eclipse, and Neptune, the other ruler of Pisces. What's more interesting is a transiting Mars in nodal degree and hitting his natal Mercury, and Mars in its fall. Mars is in Cancer, which is in its fall, and it's hitting his natal Mercury, so that is significant. Transiting node opposing his natal Neptune. Since Mars rules his legal house, this is a loss. However, the bigger loss comes from the lunar eclipse itself in the 8th house. This will hit him hard. We have a no way out situation in this case because there's a square, square, and an opposition. There is a trine. So what's the way out? That's what this video is about. Where do you see the way out? You notice that from that lunar eclipse, there's a trine to his natal Saturn in Cancer in the 11th house. That's his way out. And you don't really see it, or you may miss it, because the lunar eclipse is hitting the angles, the 10th house and the 4th house. And you could miss that 11th house coming from the 8th. But it's going to be about money. So, do you see, Pisces lunations are about behind the scenes or secret help that is kind of lucky. It comes and you get lucky and you get saved. However, no matter how good, there is a misfortune associated with Pisces. So keep that in mind. Do you remember Rudy Giuliani when he was a governor? He was at his lowest point in life and career. He was ill and tainted with scandals. He hit bottom, and then 9/11 happened, which brought him back into the limelight. He was again at the top for his ability to manage the devastation that occurred in New York City. And then, of course, you know, he became the Attorney General for Trump. He quickly became a hero. I'm talking about Giuliani. it was the misfortune of that 9/11 that brought or that saved his career. And that is what I mean by Pisces luck. So it's kind of hidden, and there's a misfortune associated with something that is good. So I encourage those of you who are advanced astrologers to analyze this chart further. I like listening to advanced analysis of charts like this. How will this matter end for Trump? As you see from his solar return chart that I released called Why Trump Was Convicted, Trump's entire year will be about having to settle for less than expected. The year of 2024 is not a good year for him. That's just the way it happened. It happens to all of us. Solar returns are used to predict one particular year's focus. As you can see, they are a strong prediction tool. He could have relocated to another place to mitigate his conditions. Solar return charts are powerful. It tells you what's coming up, and then you do whatever you have to. So, if you would like for me to interpret your solar return chart or get on my work schedule, contact me. Okay, so that's it for now.